Hey, what's up, y'all? And of course, welcome back to another Alternative Factuals video. So today we're going to be discussing the Doctor Strange movie. Now, I usually have a criteria of waiting about 5 to 6 days to, do spoiler reviews because me personally, I think it's impossible to do any kind of non-spoiler kind of situation. So I just wait a few days because you can see it on Thursday night, even though technically the release date is officially Friday, I believe. So without further ado, here is the spoiler movie review. And I want to go over a few things that are mostly just like gripes or maybe things that, I noticed or, I'm not going to list everything, obviously, but be sure to at least comment down below. Let me know what you think about the movie in general. So overall, the movie was very enjoyable. I would say, honestly, if on a scale of 1 to 10, I definitely give it maybe like an 8.3, somewhere around there. Very enjoyable film. You have to go into the film without any kind of expectations or kind of just, watch it for what it is. Now, not to say that it doesn't tie into other things very well, like WandaVision. It's just that, I think too, like sometimes you'll notice like there are going to be some things that, kind of contradict some other things that were previously stated in the movies. And I'll mention a couple of them, but in this particular case though, it still was very enjoyable. Now, one thing I will tell you off rip is even though you can watch it without WandaVision, if you do not watch it with WandaVision in mind or having seen it, then there are going to be some parts that kind of feel like it came out of nowhere, like the whole Wanda being the way that she is now. If you did not see the series, you will be completely lost. So even though Kevin Feige did say you could walk into the movies without watching the series, I would not recommend walking into it without watching any of the series that were on Disney Plus. It helps you get the full picture, even though technically it's not required, so to speak. So here are some things that I noticed. I'm going to try and go in order. My mind tends to bounce all over the place, so bear with me if I don't. So one of the things I was very, conflicted about the movie. Well, first, when it starts off, you already know it starts off with Doctor Strange and America Chavez kind of jumping through, the multiverse, trying to get the Book of Ashanti, which this is not the main MCU version of Doctor Strange. This is just an alternate reality version of him. And basically he gets killed and America Chavez ends up pulling them both into the main MCU universe, and then she runs into Doctor Strange. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole love affair and the whole situation with Doctor Strange and Christine. So even though it was prevalent in the story, it was not like, the main driving force, I guess, at least not for the plot itself. It was more or less the driving force of Doctor Strange and the motives and why he does certain things, and the fact that he was willing to sacrifice his love life to kind of be the person who had to make the hard choices. But then, we kind of get thrusted into the fact that, America Chavez is on the run from these demons. Then, Doctor Strange is like, hey, I might know somebody who can help. Come to find out, the person who he went to for help was the person responsible for America Chavez kind of jumping from reality. And the whole reason behind it was because Wanda, who is the person that, Doctor Strange went after for help, was basically trying to go to a universe where she can experience the love of her children that she created in WandaVision when she molded reality after what she wanted for her and Vision. So that was a whole thing. And like I said, I guess it was okay. And he knew that she was lying after she slipped up and mentioned her name without him telling her. So that was kind of a interesting little part. And what's really important though is that she did actually end up having the dark hold. And we do know this already because, like I said, in WandaVision, it ended with her reading the dark hold. And of course, we know the dark hold is a book of really, really dark magic. So essentially, she has been festering in this dark magic for however long. And then it's not only consumed a lot of the life and the life energy that was in the area of the supposed facade she was keeping up temporarily while Doctor Strange came to visit, but ultimately what happened was it corrupted her. It corrupted her mind, her feelings, and it kind of made her into this monster. Because over the course of this entire movie, she's probably directly and indirectly killed like 200 people. So she lost a cotton pick of mind. But one thing as we kind of progressed throughout the story that I had an issue with overall was that Doctor Strange was very wrong about how many ways that there were to defeat Thanos. And this is where I lead to the part that gets the most interesting. Like I said, I'm not quite going in order, but I kind of am a little bit. So there is a universe where it was Charles Xavier, Mr. Fantastic, who was John Krasinski, Charles Xavier, who we know is Patrick Stewart, Miss Marvel, who was actually, Captain Marvel, who was Monica Rambeau's mother, in this case, Captain Carter, and Doctor Strange, those 5 who defeated Thanos before he even got to Earth, meaning there was another way for them to defeat them, except I guess in the main Marvel universe, those versions of those characters didn't exist or they were not known of, but basically their alternate Earth counterparts were. So if Captain America was on planet Titan along with Captain Marvel, along with Doctor Strange, along with I guess Charles Xavier and Black Bolt as well, but Black Bolt is pretty powerful, so I guess I kind of see how this kind of transpired differently. Things could have turned out differently, but because they didn't have access to at least 2 of those people who were very powerful in their own right, things just did not turn out the way that it could have if, you know, they had those people. So that was very dope. But also what I really liked about the movie in general was the way that they displayed kind of Wanda's power. And this kind of where Sam Raimi's direction kind of is very prevalent in the movie. Not only was she necessarily called the Scarlet Witch, but her powers were very indicative of like this, you know, supernatural haunting dark force, which was very, very, very dope. I like the way that, you know, that kind of happened and went about in the movie because it made her look like this creepy dark force of nature, and I really like that. So they need to keep that up. And I already mentioned that the WandaVision show is super duper important, but also the universe in which they defeated Thanos as well was the fact that it existed with the whole Illuminati universe. So their universe, Illuminati, was the reason why they were able to defeat Thanos. So that was dope. And now what does that mean for the Illuminati? Well, it means they're probably going to exist in the main MCU universe. That's number 1. And 2, that means mutants and humans and the Fantastic Four, this is like their little way of trickling that, yes, they do exist in their, you know, universe somewhere, in the multiverse somewhere. They had the same actor who played Black Bolt in the TV show, and he played it in the movie as well. So that was super duper dope. Now, the thing that I think is most interesting is the fact that when we get to that part with the Illuminati, Wanda ended up killing Mr. Fantastic, that universe version of Mr. Fantastic, who he did confirm that he did have 2 children, who we both know is Franklin Richards, a scary, powerful person, and Valeria Richards, who is his daughter. Now, what's super interesting is that, you know, she kills him, even though the Invisible Woman is still alive. The ramifications of that could be very detrimental because Franklin Richards is a very powerful person, and when he gets old enough, he could end up pursuing Wanda. Maybe not that version of Wanda in his own universe, but might come to the main MC universe to pursue Wanda and actually get vengeance on her, but we don't know if he's going to take that route or anything like that. But one thing I've learned about the movie is that the Loki show kind of was the, as I would say, the real reason for the multiverse. So even though in the Spider-Man movie, some people speculated like, how can Peter Parker be responsible for the multiverse when in reality Loki was the one who technically, or the Loki show showed how it was created. So basically what I'm gathering from this movie specifically is that Loki was the reason how the universe came into, well, the multiverse came into fruition, but then Spider-Man, because it was already out there, because of that particular spell, it was pulling in people from alternate realities that shouldn't have been there, I'm assuming. So basically one event led to another, which eventually led to events that are going to be leading up to whatever the finality of this whole saga is. Now, even though they tend to suggest in this movie as well that there's going to be like this, the similarities between alternate versions of these characters, even though they tend to look the same for the most part across the board, it does seem that even though they may be the same person, they can exist at different points in time in alternate universes, and they will not always have the same abilities and powers. So that's something also to keep in mind going forward when you're watching this movie. Now, another thing I would say, more or less before I start completely ranting, is the fact that the Darkhold is in fact destroyed. However, it doesn't mean that there cannot be another copy, because we found that the Darkhold that was in each reality was a copy coming from a singular location, and that being, whoever created the Darkhold, which, like I said, I'm not going to get into because I did discuss a little bit of this when going over Blade and his origins and the Darkhold, and people who use the Darkhold for their dark purposes and how it corrupted them in many ways. But ultimately, this kind of probably will explain why that certain creatures came into existence, but then why they kind of no longer will exist after a certain point. Or maybe the Darkhold has to be recreated from Wanda herself, or from, you know, Chthon or somebody who basically wants to re-enter this plane of existence. And as of right now, it seems like Wanda might be dead, but we're pretty confident Wanda is a lot harder to kill because of the nature of her powers and the chaos magic and how powerful she is. Now, we do know because Doctor Strange himself had to use the Darkhold in order to kind of combat Wanda and, you know, put America Chavez in the position to actually show Wanda how evil she was turning out in this movie, there was a consequence for that as well. He ended up opening this third part of his eye, which I guess the alternate version of Doctor Strange, who did have the same ability as well, ended up manifesting. But we don't know the totality in which this eye is, you know, capable of doing. We don't know if this third eye keeps him constantly open to magical energies and things from different universes. We don't know what's the price for him using the Darkhold, but we do know not only did he, you know, dreamwalk into an alternate version of himself that was dead in his own universe, but he resurrected him. And then also, like I said, using all this with the Darkhold, meaning he resurrected him, which is already dark magic, then dreamwalk, which is another layer of dark magic. And then on top of that, he was able to control the souls of the damned. So 3 layers of black magic being used by a singular person, all to defeat Wanda, who still was very powerful. And then America Chavez was the one who kind of put the icing on the cake, showed her who she really was, because her own children, Wanda's children in an alternate universe, did not recognize her because of how evil she was. So it seems like this movie served a purpose of saying like a lot more things in the multiverse, a lot more things in the MCU is going to be not only magic based, but also the consequences of the multiverse, the consequences of this chaos magic, the consequences of the Darkhold, the dark dimension, and start answering a lot of questions about the multiverse, a lot of questions about the cosmic entities, the cosmic energies, and the different dimensions that serve out in the world. Because even Thor Love and Thunder, we've seen in the trailer that they're going to start exploring alternate dimensions with Zeus and just understanding what is happening in the Marvel landscape when it comes to this overall giant picture of not only Doctor Strange, not only Thor, but just moving forward with this alternate timeline situation with multiverse, omniverse, whatever you want to call it. We're going to start getting a lot of answers about the Celestials and these powerful beings that are out there in the universe who honestly make Thanos in most cases look like child's play. So forgive me if I was all over the place, but this is just, you know, my overview and, you know, kind of my detailed analysis of Doctor Strange, kind of my thought process. Let me know what you think about it. And did you enjoy the movie? Did you really, you know, take the time to see it on Thursday like I did on Friday? Let me know how you felt about the movie. Give me anything that I've missed. I did not go over everything because this video would probably be like an hour long, but let me know how you felt about it. Give me all the details. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you like it, and I will, I guess, talk to y'all later. Peace.